So in this video, we are continuing to see how and where children pick up either an optimistic way of thinking and talking to themselves, an optimistic way of explaining to themselves how life works, what life is about, and how we make our choices, compared to children who grow up with a cynical mindset. This book is called Learned Optimism by Martin Seligman, and I've been reading this. It's been very, very helpful. I will leave I will leave a link in the description box so that you can get your own copy. And meanwhile, we can enjoy reading along. I'm reading from the chapter of Origins of Optimism, Children and Parents. So, what he says is that there are three factors or three reasons, major hypotheses, actually, three major hypotheses about the origins of our explanatory style. One was, which we have already checked in the other video, we've already read it and talked about it in the first, in another video, which I will link here on the top. That was to do with the mother's explanatory style. Diving deeper, we're going to go into the second hypothesis that he suggests. Now, these are hypotheses and they have been tested out by him through experiments and research that they've done. And I'm not saying that it is 100% true, because all of us view life in a very different way. But these definitely do give us clues as to our own lives, and we can look back at our own uh, at our own times, that when we were growing up, and we can see how our way of thinking probably it has been influenced by these hypotheses that he is providing here. So we're going to go to the second thing, which is adult criticism, that is teachers and parents. When your child, when your children do something wrong, what do you say to them? What do their teachers say to them? As noted, children listen carefully not just to the content, but to the form, not just to what adults say to them, but how the adult says it to them. This is particularly true in criticisms. Children believe that criticism they get and use them, children believe the criticisms that they get and use them to form the explanatory style of the way that they think and talk to themselves. So let's look for a minute into a typical third grade classroom. As Carol Dweck, one of the world's leading researchers into emotional development, has done already. So he's quoting a research that has been done. Carol's work has illuminated how optimism develops. It may also give us clues about what happens during the childhood of women that makes them far more susceptible to depression and mania. Once the class gets used to your presence and settles down, the first thing that you notice is a striking difference between the demeanor of the girls compared to boys. The girls are for most part a pleasure for the teacher. They sit quietly, even fold their hands, and they appear to listen attentively. The boys are a pain. They fidget even when trying to sit still, which they don't try that all that often. They don't appear to listen, they don't obey the rules as scrupulously as the girls do. When they act up, which is a lot of the time, they shout and they run around. Now, this I think is being a little bit of very like I think it's being very it's subjective, I guess. I don't agree to this completely, but since we're reading from the book, we are going to just go along with it and take what resonates with us and leave what does not. So the class buckles down and takes a test on fractions. What does the teacher say to the children who do badly on the test? What kind of criticisms do boys and girls hear from their teachers in the third grade when they fail? The boys who fail are typically told, you weren't paying attention. You didn't try hard enough. You were being rowdy when I was teaching fractions. What kinds of explanations are not paying attention, little effort, and rowdiness? They are temporary and specific. They're not pervasive. Temporary because you can change how much effort you put out, and you can pay attention if you want to pay attention, and you can stop being rowdy. Boys hear temporary and specific causes invoked to explain why their school performance was not up to par. The girls in Dweck's study reveals that routinely hear a quite different sort of condemnation. Since they aren't rowdy and they look as if they are paying attention, they can't be criticized on those grounds. So, for the teacher correcting them, this leaves you're not very good at math. You always hand in sloppy papers. You never check your work. Most of the temporary causes, such as inattention, not trying, and misbehaving, are ruled out. So, girls are barraged with permanent and pervasive criticisms to their failure. But what do they distill out of their third grade experience? Carol Dweck found out by taking fourth grade girls and giving them impossible problems to solve. Then she looked at how they explained their failures. They all got scrambled words to find anagrams. So, this is a little bit of explanation of what it was. So, what she does is she asks them, why didn't you solve the problem? The girl said things like, I'm not very good at word games. I guess I'm not very bright. The boys, whereas given the same, was I wasn't paying attention. I didn't try very hard. Who cares about your lousy puzzles anyway? And in this test, the girls gave permanent and pervasive explanation for their failures, whereas the boys gave more hopeful explanations, which were temporary, which were specific and changeable. What we see here is the impact of the second influence on your child's explanatory style. The criticism that adults make when the child fails, again, the child listens attentively. And if what he hears is permanent and pervasive, which is you're stupid or you're not good, this finds its way into this theory of himself. If what he hears is temporary and specific, you didn't try hard enough, or these puzzles are for sixth graders, he sees problems as solvable and local. So, I don't think this has anything to do with honestly boys or girls, in my opinion. I'm not a researcher, so I've not really done any research, and I have not even looked at the statistics of depression and explanatory styles before I went into this video. But I do see a lot of wisdom coming out from this particular topic that we just read about, which is that there is a lot to do with the way that you're communicating with your children, with yourself, with everyone around you. Make sure if you are giving any kind of criticism, it is constructive, which means that it is not to make it permanent, it is not to make it personal, it is not to make it pervasive, that it is always like this or something like that. Just understanding that can actually help us really design the way that we talk to ourselves and to everyone around us, especially if we have children, because they're the ones who will be picking up everything that we say to them and using that as a method of seeing life. So, from this, my own reflection is that, as I've shared, being a child who was dyslexic in school, I think the explanatory style that was used to talk to me was permanent and pervasive. That, Rabab, why do you always have a bad handwriting? Why are you not improving? That was not permanent, but why do you always have a bad handwriting? Um, you're always making this mistake. So you see, it's really the way that we pick up. I think I can really differentiate now how I have picked up a lot of the methods of speaking from my own teachers when in my own childhood, and use that as a definition for who I am. That I don't know math, or I don't know how to pay attention. But if I really try, I could do that. I have actually done that. So um, I hope that this video gives you an insight as to how you're already talking to yourself, and how is it permanent? Is it pervasive? Is it personal, or is it circumstantial? Is it solvable? Is it something that is just a challenge and it is not the end of what you're trying to do? So, if you're liking these videos, make sure to press the like button, subscribe to my channel, and follow me for more videos about mindset, about self talk, self love, and self acceptance. So, see you in the next one. Bye.